Hey, Sweat Sisters. Welcome to the Pretty Girl Sweat Show, which highlights women who are balancing demanding careers with a healthy lifestyle and hurdling over personal and professional obstacles. I'm your host, Aeshia DeVore Branch, and each week I have a sister-to-sister chat with an inspiring go-getter, and listeners learn how good things come to those who sweat. If this is your first time listening, what up? You could be anywhere in the world and you're here with me, and I really appreciate that. If you love what you hear, take a second to subscribe to the podcast so you get updates every time we drop a new episode. If you got half a second, leave a rating, which will help other Sweat Sisters in need of some inspiration find our podcast. If you have a minute, please follow us across all social media platforms. We are at Pretty Girl Sweat on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, and YouTube. Use the hashtag PrettyGirlSweat when sharing this episode. And if you have 5 minutes, please leave a review and let us know how we're doing. Chantel Jiroch started her juice journey 10 years ago after having her daughter Lotus, who she named her business after. The mother-daughter duo began juicing on YouTube as a fun way to stay healthy and spend time together. And her popularity on YouTube led to juicing for private clients, which quickly turned into opening her first juice bar in 2012. As you listen to episode 34, you'll discover that Chantel's journey to juicing wasn't easy, but her enthusiasm for a plant-based living, as well as her love for her kids, made it all worth it. Chantel Jiroch, welcome to the Pretty Girl Sweat Show.
Hello.
Hey, girl. I'm really looking forward to having a deep dive chat with you today. For anyone listening, Chantel and I are friends, and we work out like 4, sometimes even 5 days a week together. We go through these like strenuous workouts. We eat lunch after. We chat about our kids, the men in our lives, anything that's happening in pop culture. But we never really get a chance to talk about like our upbringing. And we always said we feel like we have so much in common. So this is kind of our discovery moment, I would say, that we will get to learn a lot. So let's start with the beginning. Tell us about your upbringing, about where you were born and where you grew up, and a little bit about your parents.
Yeah, so I was born in Miami, Florida. My mom is Jamaican. My dad is white American. He was born and raised in Racine, Wisconsin, if anybody's ever heard of that. I grew up in a Cuban neighborhood called Hialeah, where like the signs were in Spanish. Everything was super authentic Hispanic, which I loved.
Do you know Veronica Vega? She was born in Hialeah too.
Yes, which I think I met her through you in Atlanta, which is odd that you'd never meet somebody from Hialeah anyway.
I know, right?
So yeah, I like her.
Uh-huh. All right, so tell me about your childhood when it comes to how you fit in with your peers. I mean, you grew up in this Cuban neighborhood. You're a mixed kid. Did you fit in pretty seamlessly, or did you have some struggles?
Yeah, no. And so I grew up in a Cuban neighborhood, but my mom put me in inner city schools because that's where the magnet programs were. And at first my dad was like, why are you doing this? But my mom was like wanting me to do something else. She wanted me to experience something outside of Hialeah. So I went to inner city schools because at the time that was the only place they had magnet programs. And I didn't really see race. Like, obviously, everything around me was diverse. Everybody was just accepting. And I knew how to run really fast. That was one thing that got me, that got my peers in the schools that I went to be like, man, they called me Jiroch at the time. They were like, Jiroch, hey, come here, let's race. And they would just want to run with me. Like,
that's that Jamaican blood in you.
Yeah. Right. So that was just the thing. And then I started playing soccer. So I was heavy into dance growing up and a huge soccer player. And I played till I was like 18. And I also danced from the age of 10 to 18. So it was either I was going to go to college for dance or I was going to go for soccer. And I picked dance.
Did you have any coaches that influenced your life or taught you something that you still hold near and dear to you today?
Yeah, I think the dynamic with being a dancer and a soccer player was great. It's the perfect mix because dance is soft and it's emotional and it allows you to connect to your like feelings and your body and your movement. So you get in touch with that. And then in the other side, soccer was like, let's kick some ass. let's be a bad, let's just be tough. And that wasn't something I got in dance. So the dynamic with the two kind of molded me to know both, to know how to shift as a woman, especially. I thought that was important.
I agree. So why Florida State University? Why'd you choose that
Well, I
college?
wanted to stay in state because of
Okay.
financial. It was easier.
Mhm.
Two, they had I think the top three dance programs in the country, so that was a plus. And three, I would have graduated in 3 years because of the school I went to. I went to New World School of the Performing Arts, and that gave me an accelerated college credits.
Oh, that's well. When you
So,
walked in that campus,
huh?
though, as a freshman, what did you hope you were going to get out of school by graduation? Like, what was the goal?
I don't know. Honestly, I was just like, my mind was more about getting out, to be
Yeah.
honest. I felt like my parents wanted me to go.
Hmm.
And I value that experience. I think every kid needs at least 2 years of college. I don't know what it does. You never really half people don't use their degree, but something about it makes you a little more ready for the world. So I'm grateful for that. And my first college roommate is a good friend of mine to this day, and it's just valuable what I learned there.
Now, did dating or like your social experiences impact your collegiate or even your professional journey a bit? Did it kind of steer
Well,
you anyway?
I mean, that's Florida State's a huge sports college.
Okay.
But I, in high school, dated this guy named Alex Blaze. He was awesome. And we started dating, I think, 10th grade. And
Okay.
we dated throughout college.
Oh,
And he went to
wow.
University of Florida. Yeah, it was an awesome relationship. And I felt like it protected me in a way from a lot of that heartache of being, naive and ridiculous at that age. And it was one of those really passionate kind of childhood loves. I really loved him. He was super sweet to me. He went to University of Florida, which was 2 hours away. So I would literally drive there one weekend. He would come up the next weekend, and we would just do that we dated 7 years.
Oh, wow. Was he around during the infamous car incident?
With what, me getting jacked up? I mean, me
Yeah.
getting mobbed. Yeah, he had to been.
Well,
He
take us
was
back to
down for
that
a
story
lot.
because this story is pretty infamous
Yeah,
about
no.
you being a young little baller.
Right. So growing up in high school, I was modeling, and I would make money. And since I had no bills, I thought that I was just like balling. So I got a Chevy S10. It was a truck. It was white with an extended cab. I dropped it low to the ground. I put 20-inch rims. I got speakers in the back because at the time you had to have like equipment to have good big music, and subwoofers and all that shit. So I'm riding. Me and my friends would always ride to like Missy Elliott, Busta Rhymes at the time was popping, and we would ride with our windows down. So I was coming home one day, and across the street from my house there was a group of guys, and they were just hanging out. And I pulled in to my house, and I saw that they were looking at me. But me being stupid 16, I thought I was just cool. Like, yeah, check me out. And I pulled into my house, and that night they totally robbed me. They took everything out of the truck. And I woke up to the sound of somebody wrestling outside, and I looked out the window and I saw what was happening. And all I could do was like bang on the window. Like, I didn't know what to do. And so I think they looked up and they got startled, and they left. But at that point, I realized the biggest lesson in my life was just like, keep it to yourself. Keep things like, don't be boastful. Don't show off, because showing off is basically saying, here, come get it. And
Mhm.
yeah, that was my life lesson. And you probably wouldn't know anything that I have because I just never really brag or show anything anymore.
Smart, smart. That's a
Yes.
good lesson to learn at a young age. You could have made a
Yeah.
lot more mistakes in between them, but no, that's good.
I've been
Okay,
a
so
mess.
I know. Okay, so tell us. So you were modeling. You went to college.
Hmm.
Out of college, what was like your next, like, or your first job?
Out of college. Out of college, I decided because I was modeling and thinking the world was perfect in Miami, I was like, oh, I'm going to take this to the next level and move out to LA. And I had my money saved. So I was like, I could take care of myself. I move out to LA and, the real world hits you and I get jobs. The only job I ever got in LA was waiting tables, being a bartender. I waited tables at a Mexican restaurant, a bartender at a tequila bar. Like, the struggle was definitely real, but it was a really good time of self-reflection, spiritual growth. Personally, I think I grew the most there, but it was really a difficult time just trying to figure out my 20s. So yeah, I hustled in LA. I did some auditions, nothing ever really hit. So yeah, it was just a hustle until I was like, yeah, I'm done with this.
And then what was the next step?
So I moved back home. I was out there for like 6 years. So I had to be like 27 when I moved back home. And I was like lost, really. I think going out to LA, I had all the confidence in the world going there, but leaving there, I think I had none. LA has a really crazy way of just breaking you down if you're not mentally prepared for that kind of life. But so moving back home, I got to regroup and, I don't know. I was just in this weird place in my life. And so that's at 27, I had my daughter, Lotus. And her dad is someone I went to middle school and high school with. So he's somebody I've known my whole life pretty much.
Okay.
He was living in Atlanta. So when I had Lotus, I was like, well, I don't want to raise her by myself. Let me move to Atlanta and, at least she could be with her dad. Mm-hmm. So coming to Atlanta was kind of a culture shock for me because it's just more of a small-minded city opposed to Miami and LA, which is fine. It just took me a while to adapt. And I didn't know what I was going to do. I was literally a stay-at-home mom with no money, and this baby to raise. And I'm just like, I don't want my daughter to look at me and be like, somebody asked her, what did your mom do? And she's like, I don't know. My mom sits at home. So the thought of that terrified me. And I'm raising a daughter. I was like, man, I got to teach her, I have to be the role model that I want her to see in the world. And so I was like, we got to do something. And the closest thing for me to do was what I've known always. And that's healthy living, eating right. So we started doing YouTube videos. She was like 2 years old, and it's the cutest YouTube videos of her because she doesn't even know how to speak real words. She spoke this language like we called it yuri yuri because all she would be like but it was the cutest thing. So we would do these videos, and it was really going well. And people were hitting me up and like, hey, can you juice for me? Can you juice for me? So I started making a little bit of money off of it, and I was like, oh my God, this could really be a business. Mm-hmm. So I went back to school to get a master's in nutrition because I figured let's get some credibility around this. And so,
where did you go to school?
What is it called? Man, it's a South Georgia. It's not Clark. It's called something with a C. I couldn't even tell you because I only did it for like a year before one of my friends. One of my friends hit me. He owns these barbecue places here in Atlanta, Sweet Auburn Barbecue, and he was like, yo, you should just open up a juice bar, man. Forget school. Like, there's a spot opening up right next to me. Just open it up. And so I literally took $10,000 of my own money and opened up a juice bar. He told me that in May, and I was asking people, how may I help you by July?
Oh, so God.
It went quick.
What year was that?
That was 2012.
Okay.
That was 2012. Yeah. And it was great. Like when I say it was really fun. Like every day I just went in there. I was juicing. I was meeting people. Like it took off. And the first year, I think we grossed like 200,000. Oh, and the second year was like 300. And it was just amazing. And I got Best of Atlanta one year, which was huge to me because I was like, this shit started from nothing, an idea. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So And my best birthday was one year. You know, today's my birthday.
What? Wait a second. Terrible friend. Happy birthday. See, this is what happens. Well, first of all, I don't know when you're listening to this episode, but currently we're on day, I don't know what, of the quarantine. The corona quarantine. So I'm completely out of the loop. I think I've missed 2 friends' birthdays this week because
Trust me, I don't announce it. It's actually something I hate getting these birthday texts. I'm like, okay, I get it. I know. Let's keep it moving.
Happy birthday. How are you going to have your corona birthday?
I think we're jumping on a Zoom, a happy
hour
yes. Zoom, right?
It's on.
Like,
it's
cool.
on.
I'll
yes. Okay.
Now, ironically, I say that because I think it was like 2014. It was my birthday. And I remember somebody goes, man, this is how you're going to celebrate your birthday. And I remember looking up in the register and the line was like down the hall. Mm-hmm. And I was like, man, this is a great birthday. Like, amen to me, because the idea that I had came into fruition and I'm in it and I'm looking at it. And it was the one moment where I took a breath and was like, I did what I said I was going to do. Mm-hmm. And it's to make something so my daughter could see that I had an idea, I had a dream, and I accomplished it. Even if it wasn't on a grand scale, I was happy at that space. So, yeah.
Well, what would you say was the biggest risk you've ever taken for your career?
Well, so we could keep going further. So when I had this juice bar, I brought in a partner.
Okay. Was it called Lucky Lotus at this time or had another name?
It's called Rossum.
Okay.
And so I brought in a business partner. And the one thing I would say, when you have a business, bringing in a business partner is it is a risk. It's really risky. You have to make a really smart decision when you do it. And at the time, Lotus's father was also a part of the business from a distance. So I brought in a business partner who was like a great marketer, and he was, this who's who guy. And so as things in my relationship started going downhill, so did the partnerships, and everything started to fall apart. And one day, they wanted to just, they were coming together to take me out because it was a third. Each of us had a third of the business.
Oh, wow.
Which is the stupidest thing you could ever do in business, is if you have an idea and you have a business, make sure you own 51% of it. Mm-hmm. And then if you want to give partnership away, just make sure you own 51% of it. Because I didn't realize that they could come together and have majority vote. Mm-hmm. So they come together and try to get me out. And I'm sitting with my accountant. And we're at a Waffle House. The guy, and so my business partner at the time hands me a paper and says, so me and such were talking, and we think that this is what we are going to offer you and buy you out. And I remember my head blowing up. I don't even know what I said, but I was just living, and I couldn't believe that somebody an idea that I started and somebody that I brought into it had the power of putting me out of it. And so, that business quickly, I think it lasted 3 years, from 2012 to 2015.
Without you being involved?
No, that's how long I did it. And then in 2015, they kicked me out and tried to give me a buyout. So that was probably the lowest point in my life, because I was like feeling like, man, I got to accomplish something and it's going so great. And then I have nothing now. Mm. So what they didn't realize is I already signed the lease to extend to go to Pont City Market.
Uh-huh.
What they didn't realize was I was the only person on that lease. And what they didn't realize is them kicking me out kicks them out of the next big thing. But what that also meant for me was I had to start from zero again, because, start from zero money, start from zero concept, because it couldn't be the same juice bar. I couldn't bring anything over equipment wise. Like, you're at zero. So it was that summer of 2015. It was the worst summer of my life. I was just like, I had a daughter to raise and I had to figure this out again. And I was like, no way. And they were hitting me with, threats to sue and all this stuff. So I had to protect myself on a whole nother level. And yeah, I made that shit work though.
You sure did.
So in 2015, I found the money. I got money to open up what's now Lucky Lotus, which is my second juice bar. And we opened the doors October of 2015. And man, it's been going really well. We're at, over $500,000 annual gross sales starting from zero in 2015. Awesome. And in 2020, we're a profitable business with 8 employees that I'm proud to have. And they hold me down. I make sure I take care of my people. And, we've just created a really positive, loving culture where we're just here to offer positive, healthy options to customers and good energy. So, I think triumph and all those tribulations I went through and to come to where I am in 2020, I'm like a totally different person. Mm-hmm. So
that is a great story. One that I'm sure will inspire a lot of people. Were there any mentors for you along this process as you were trying to, refigure this all out the second time around?
Yeah. I mean, Derek Dudley, that's my man. Mm-hmm. That's who I'm with. But watching him, so Derek Dudley, for everybody, is a man. He was a manager, and in the music industry and all that. So the way he works, I would just look at how he would move in business and how he would think and how he would strategize things. And even though we were in totally different industries, I just would learn. I was learning, not to jump the gun. Because, one thing that I noticed, a lot of women do it too, is when we get emotional about our business, we jump the gun. Uh-huh. And we're like, oh, no, you're not going to do that. And we just let loose. And I realized watching him that even if you're letting loose on the inside, you can't let people see that you're letting loose on the outside. Yeah. Especially as a woman, you can't be that crazy girl because nobody wants to touch it. And so I really had to get professional and I really had to grow up and put my big girl panties on and handle business the way business should be. So I think that was vital for where I am today.
Oh, God. Okay. So you run a juice bar. You're a mom. Your friend. We all these hats. You're a daughter. How much of healthy living is a part of your life, like outside of professionally? Like, do you really carry the same, ethos into your home? Yeah. Okay.
No, that's a good question because so when I first started in 2020, I was healthy. I was juicing and drinking smoothies, but I was still eating meat and chicken and beef. A good old oxtail couldn't get me away from. So I felt the disconnect. I felt that I was not being authentic to my customer base by saying, hey, do this, but I wasn't 100% doing what I felt should be done. So I think it took me a while to get there. I had to stop eating beef, then stop eating, one by one till I could really get there. And it was a challenge for me, which people probably looked at me and thought, oh, it must be so easy. But I was really not living that life completely. And so I am now. I feel like I could honestly say this is my lifestyle. This is my kids' lifestyle. We're pescatarian now. I've done the vegan thing. I feel like that was too far from me and raising my kids because we would just eat too many carbs. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know how to do it right. But I think we found a nice balance with, eating fish, every once in a while, incorporating more fruits and vegetables into our diet. But it is a struggle. But yes, I am 100% about this life.
Now, what's one thing you do every day that makes you happy?
Good question. Um, I don't know. I really try to take at least 30 minutes out of my day to just sit down with my kids. Even if it's I have to play dinosaurs or Lotus is all into like Roblox, but I try to just take 30 minutes and just breathe with them for a second because days could be like ready, set, go. And so I make sure to do that every day. And that's my calming place. And you know what else is my calming place? Just sitting in the car.
Yes, same.
I mean, hallelujah to the car rides. Like me in my car, I think of the best ideas.
Yes.
I'm like, I need a pad and paper in my car because I think of the best shit in my car.
Right. Or you could use your notes on your phone, type it right in.
Yeah, but those are my hallelujah moments. So,
Oh, I love that. Do you have a favorite book?
favorite book is Celestial Prophecy, Celestine Prophecy. I want my
What?
daughter to read that too. It's one of my introduction to spirituality
Okay.
books. It's awesome. It's not business related, but it lets you know the world about setting intentions
Yeah,
and they coming back to you.
I agree. I just got finished reading The Alchemist. A
Yes.
friend gave it to me in 2003. Shout out to
Same.
Camilla Alves
Oh, you
McConaughey. She
just
hooked
get
me up.
into that? You
Yes,
just get
I
into
just finished reading that book thanks to Corona quarantine.
it?
Insane. 17 years later, but it's
The
so
book is
good.
50 pages long. Like, seriously.
No, it's 200. That's 200. But I just never got around to reading it. I just never did. And I kind of lost the book along the way. You know, we've moved several times and it kind of reappeared and I had
Hmm.
some time. So I read
Yeah.
it and I was like, wow, it was eye-opening spiritually, just I'm sure as your book was
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, check it out. Celestine
Yeah.
Prophecy.
Okay. I will definitely check it out. So sleep. Keep it real.
Hmm.
How many hours are you sleeping every night?
I'm an early bird. I go to bed. I'm like in bed by 10. If I'm not in bed by 10, my eyes are like red and dry.
Oh, that's
So
good.
yeah, I go to bed around 10. I have a 3-year-old son too, so he makes me go to sleep. If I don't go to sleep, he's not going to sleep, which is ridiculous, but whatever.
What time do you get up? Around 6, 7?
Yeah, 6:30.
Okay. Okay. You're getting enough sleep every day. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And your exercise habits pre-corona were like how many
Man.
days a week?
Yeah, we were getting it in. It was like I would think I was doing 5 to 6 days.
Yeah.
I felt
Sometimes
so
2 a days.
good. Sometimes 2 days to zero. I just am like, I don't know about this home workout thing.
So, okay. So what's the struggle for you? Do you feel like you just need the accountability, like you need to be in a space, you need the
Yeah.
energy, or you just haven't found the right like video workout?
Maybe I don't give the video workout a try, but I feel like
Okay.
somebody needs to charge me and I need to know my money's about to be wasted if I don't get up and go to that class. Because that
Yeah.
really was what was getting me to go. I was like, nah, I'm paying for this. I'm doing it.
Yeah. Money will motivate you.
Yeah. And
Okay,
then
well, we
you
have to.
guys,
Yes, yeah, that's what I
accountability
miss.
partners are, yeah.
Yeah, I really miss going to class, but we'll get through this. In the meantime, there are a lot of virtual workouts on Instagram Live that we could kind of sort of do together and kind of feel
Mhm.
like we're together, but it's really not the same.
I know. I'm going to go take a walk today, though. That might start
That's
me.
good. Okay, that's a good idea. Maybe you could take walks with friends where you're 6 feet apart.
Right. You're across the street
I
and,
know.
oh my goodness.
Okay, so when you were going to gyms and boutique studios, what's some items that were pretty much always in your gym bag?
My electrolyte powder, alkaline water. I swear by a Kangen water machine. So I have a Kangen water machine in my house, and it's supposed to be this water machine is what they use in Japanese hospitals to help people, to help patients.
Okay.
So I swear by that. And a protein bar,
What brand? What kind?
pure protein. It's like a blue pack.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, some of those
Oh,
protein bars are terrible.
oh yeah, they can be pretty funky. Ugh.
Yeah, yeah.
What about the electrolyte powder? Do you have a particular brand you like?
It's called IV.
Okay. And
And
you
I
get
just
it.
drink that. I got it at Costco, but they have it at Whole Foods. They have it everywhere now. But
Okay.
I found that because I just drank water, it felt like I was just going to the bathroom all day, but I wasn't retaining anything. And so adding that electrolyte powder has given me a little more substance and sustainability in my stamina.
Hmm.
So that's why I like that.
Okay. What needs to be on your workout playlist, or what needs to be played for you to get hype and stay motivated?
I'm a Beyonce fan.
Hmm.
I love a good Beyonce. Um, I love some ratchet music.
Yeah.
Like, little the baby is good for me right now. I don't
Yeah.
know. Yeah,
I
I'm good.
like.
Even
Yes.
Lizzo. Like I like cheesy pop, stuff.
Yeah. Remember for a minute we were vibing off of Roddy Rich too.
Yes.
Yeah, that was a moment. That was a
Yeah.
moment. Okay, so you're eating pretty well, but on a cheat day, what are you eating?
Oh God, I have a sweet tooth out of this world. They have these vegan cookies called Uncle Something at Whole Foods, and they're peanut butter. Oh my God, I could go through a whole bag. It's ridiculous. If I could take sugar out of my diet, I would be right.
Oh
Everything
yeah.
would be right with the world.
So every day you gotta have a little something.
I do. I do eat a cookie or so every day. And I'm okay with that.
Yeah, one cookie's not gonna kill you. Now, if you eat that whole bag, that's gonna be a problem.
I can't say that hasn't happened. I cannot say that has not happened.
Okay, so you're really into beauty too. I mean, you do like different treatments and you have
Yeah.
products. Tell me, what are some of your go-to beauty products?
Serums. There's a serum by iClinical. I swear by that thing. It's in a little blue bottle. Swear
Okay.
by it. And I do my monthly facials. I have a subscription to this dermatologist place, and I have to get a good facial once a month.
Okay.
A good
Um,
exfoliant, you know.
exactly. Make the skin glow. Love it. Deodorant. This is a hot topic here at Pretty Girl Sweat. What type of deodorant do you use?
I
Big
went
debate.
through I went through 10 of them. I had a whole debate online about what deodorant. And it's a spray liquid deodorant. It smells like baby powder. If I had the name, I should have been more prepared. But some
Spray.
of those, yeah, it's scary. So, because a lot of deodorants they say are linked to like breast cancer and stuff by
Yeah.
clogging your. That's all scary. So, yeah, I use this really organic. Arm& and Hammer has a really good one. I'll bounce
Okay.
from that one too. Arm& and
Okay.
Hammer is natural,
Okay.
and yeah.
And when you hear the three words, Pretty Girl Sweat, what do they mean to you?
Sisterhood means to me support, fun, high energy. It's really a place to get together and find like-minded women that just want to be better.
All right. Now, what's next for you?
What's next for me? I want to get into the e-commerce space. I want to take Lucky Lotus nationally eventually. I want to have prepackaged smoothies that people could order in kits and they could just get them sent straight to their door and enjoy.
I love that so much. It's gonna happen. I can't wait to
Yeah.
watch it all bloom. Uh, and if
Yeah.
you could just leave some last words for all the listeners out there, what would you tell them?
I would tell them that if they have an idea, I was the most unlikely person. I don't think anybody really had any idea or faith in me being a business owner, much less succeeding at it. So, I think all the stereotype of what you may perceive, other people may perceive you, you got to cancel out the noise and just have a focus and have a goal because you'll eventually get there. Every baby eventually takes a step and could walk a mile at some point. And so I think that was my process in growth was that I took baby steps and I didn't look at the end result. I always looked at, what's my next step? Okay, I got that step. What's my next step? And eventually I walked the mile. And so that's my advice, is just take your time and get there.
And that's Chantel. Follow her on Instagram at Chantel Jiroch and on her business page at Lucky Lotus Juice. You can also check out her website, luckylotusjuice.com. And if you're in the Atlanta, Georgia area, be sure to head on over to Ponce City Market to give her deliciously nutritious treats a try. Pretty Girl Sweatfest Atlanta returns on Saturday, September 12th, 2020. Grab your squad for the 4th annual Ultimate Sweat Sisterhood Festival. Register to receive exclusive access to inspiring trainers with heart-pumping workouts coupled with the dopest female DJs. You'll get a first-class ticket to your favorite fitness trends and hit songs. When you're not sweating it out, you can rehydrate at our sip stations, refuel in our Savor Garden filled with deliciously healthy food trucks, refresh in our Style Lounge, and shop in our vendor village. Head on over to prettygirlsweat.com/PGSF to get your early bird tickets today. Just one more thing before you take off. Do you want to get a short email from Pretty Girl Sweat every Monday and Friday that serves as a daily dose of all things inspiring and allows you priority access to our upcoming events? Just go to prettygirlsweat.com. That's prettygirls with an S, sweat.com. Drop in your email and you'll get the very next one. And if you sign up, you'll soon discover that there's no hood like sisterhood. Until next time, always remember that good things come to those who sweat.